Everyone, I just made $1 billion! And it's gone just like that. So many of us have dreams of being rich and famous, or at least the rich part, and some people actually attain that dream. But then, sometimes as quickly as they amassed their fortune, they lost it all in spectacular ways. Here are 10 filthy rich people who lost their fortunes. Number 10 is Mike Tyson. I can't buy dinner no more, let me eat your ear. Over his 20-year career from 1985 to 2005, former boxing heavyweight champion Mike Tyson was showered with respect. He knocked out every opponent in his first 19 fights, which brought in bigger and bigger paydays with each fight and promo deal. By the end of his run, he'd made over $400 million, but he managed to go into debt by over $38 million. Lavish spending and financial irresponsibility had him hemorrhaging money by the millions. Tyson's monthly expenses amounted to nearly $400,000, and the man spent millions on cars, parties, 2 tigers, his elaborate gardens, and salaries for dozens of people. The once undisputed champ filed for bankruptcy in 2003. Though Buster Douglas was the first to give him a knockout, Tyson's biggest came from his wallet. Number 9 is Rick Burton. Nevada developer and Right Path Limited co-founder Rick Burton was looking like a superstar in 2008, outbidding other millionaires for big projects. And 2 major ones helped bring his entire empire crashing down. The first was a project in Las Vegas which would bring a corporate luxury jet terminal to McCarran International Airport, and the second was a resort in Glendale, Arizona called Main Street. But neither endeavor ever came to fruition. After their failures, dozens of lawsuits were filed against Burton and Right Path by unpaid creditors. After having hundreds of millions of dollars, he ended up in 2012 owing over $310 million in debt, and Rick Burton was forced to file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, revealing that he had only $6,600 to his name. Well, at least he spent all his money on business ventures as opposed to like avoiding his giant tax bill. Who would do that? That's coming up next. Number 8 is Willie Nelson. While he is unquestionably one of the most famous country music artists of all time, Willie Nelson has found himself neck deep in financial trouble. In the late 1980s, the superstar was handed a tax bill of $16.7 million, a staggering number the man simply couldn't afford. After some smart work by his legal team, led by attorney Jay Goldberg, got that amount down to $6 million, Nelson still couldn't come up with such an amount, so he simply ignored it. But as you could imagine, the IRS does not like being ripped off by any such an amount, and on November 9th, 1990, Nelson's home was raided and all of his assets were seized. Literally the only thing the IRS didn't take was trigger his guitar. Eventually, through an unusual deal involving giving proceeds from a new album directly to the IRS, Nelson paid what he owed. Whew, that is savage by the IRS. They're gonna take everything, but here, Mr. Nelson, we're just gonna leave you your guitar. Enjoy. Number 7 is Clint Murchison Jr. Imagine inheriting your family's assets and vast wealth and then losing more than you gained. Well, that's just what happened to Clint Murchison Jr., who inherited his father, oil baron Clint Murchison Sr.'s companies and fortune. Unfortunately, due to several bad investments and business decisions, Murchison squandered that wealth fairly quickly. After establishing the Dallas Cowboys as an NFL team, he sold them far too early, collecting a fraction of what he would have earned if he waited. Mistake after mistake cost him dearly, and with the plummeting price of oil and a collapsing real estate market, Murchison found himself nearly $500 million in debt. In February 1985, Murchison was found in one of the biggest personal bankruptcy cases in the history of the United States. Number 6 is Marvin Gaye. Let's get it on. In the 1960s, Marvin Pence Gaye Jr., more famously known as Marvin Gaye, was a big musical success, helping to redefine Motown. But in the early 1970s, Gaye left the pop genre behind, and after grieving over the loss of a dear friend and collaborator, Tammy Terrell's death, began releasing darker and sadder music. In 1977, despite having made tens of millions of dollars with his music, Gaye found himself addicted to drugs and in the midst of a divorce with Anna Gordy, his first wife. And just like that, he was broke. He couldn't even afford to pay the $600,000 that he owed in alimony, so he gave Gordy the rights to his next album. Unfortunately, sales were low, and by 1981, Gaye was hiding out in Europe, avoiding the IRS due to unpaid taxes. I need financial healing, hiding out, oh yeah. Number 5 is Jack Whittaker. Andrew Jack Whittaker took home a cool $113 million after winning the Powerball lottery in 2002, the biggest jackpot ever paid out in West Virginia, but less than a year later began losing it in large numbers. $545,000 that he'd left in a suitcase in his car for some reason was stolen. Okay, honey, just go into the store. Got all my money in a suitcase. This can't end badly. He gave tens of millions to various charities, including starting his own, and gave the person who sold him the ticket a new house, Jeep, and a check for $44,000. In 2004, Whittaker's granddaughter and her boyfriend were each found dead, which led Jack down a dark path. Losing millions to gambling and giving lots away, he was sued by Caesars Atlantic City Casino after checks amounting to $1.5 million bounced. In the end, Whittaker ended up losing more than he won. See, this is why people say money doesn't make you happy. Go for a walk, find a loved one, meditate. That's the stuff that makes you happy. No joke here, just give me some life advice. Number 4 is Curt Schilling. On September 25th, 2007, Curt Schilling threw his final pitch for the Boston Red Sox, retiring from professional baseball after having made over $115 million over 20 years. He created Green Monster Games in 2006, soon after changing its name to 38 Studios, and was given a $75 million guaranteed loan from the Rhode Island Board of Economic Development to develop the business and bring 450 needed jobs to the area. However, even after the launch of the company's first game, a mass email was sent out laying off all the staff members. Schilling's company defaulted on the loan and didn't have enough to fulfill payroll.
Yes, hi Curt. It said my paycheck bounced. What happened?
Oh, that, not just, we're out of money. We're bankrupt.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I'm gonna take the stapler because that's mine.
It filed for bankruptcy on May 24th, 2012, leaving Curt Schilling with a net worth of only $1 million and in a lawsuit with the state of Rhode Island. Number 3 is MC Hammer. I don't care if he's bankrupt, I will forever love this guy's parachute pants. Better known for his hit hip-hop song, You Can't Touch This, the parachute pants-wearing American rapper Stanley Kirk Burrell, better known to millions as MC Hammer, was the pioneer of pop rap in the late 80s and early 90s, and the first rapper to hit diamond status for an album. According to Forbes magazine, in the early 90s, Hammer enjoyed a financial status of over $33 million. However, the mid to late 90s found his album sales plummeting, and his unpaid loans, luxurious lifestyle, and payroll for his many employees costed him a lot more than he had. He wound up in debt over $13 million while still trying to support his friends and family. On April 1st, 1996, after realizing there was no way he could recoup the costs that he'd accumulated, Hammer filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Hey Hammer, you owe me money! Nope, break it down! Number 2 is Sean Quinn. In February of 2008, John Ignatius Quinn, better known as Sean Quinn, was the richest person in the Republic of Ireland, amassing over $6 billion in wealth through clever business deals and investments. But soon after reaching that billionaire status, everything came crashing down for the businessman. Confident in his fortune, Quinn quickly increased his family's stake in the Anglo-Irish Bank in early 2008. But later that same year, the bank experienced near collapse and was taken over by the Irish government in January of 2009. Quinn Insurance and Quinn personally were fined millions for improper loans, aiding in his financial woes. But amazingly, it took less than 3 years for Quinn to lose his billions, and he was declared bankrupt in 2011. So much for luck of the Irish. Oh, And number 1 is Michael Jackson. Though he was beloved by millions upon millions of fans worldwide and brought in over $300 million with the sale of his music alone, the king of pop met financial ruin and then went far past it. Michael Jackson made some very wise investments, including the purchase of the Beatles' music library for $47.5 million, but unfortunately made some more bad ones. In 1988, he spent $17 million on the land supporting the Neverland Ranch and then proceeded to spend around $5 million a year on keeping it operating. After court settlements cost him tens of millions, brands began dropping him en masse, reducing his income while his expenses grew. It's estimated that by the time he met his untimely death, Jackson had gone into severe debt and owed anywhere between $300 and $500 million. Well, regardless of all that, we can all agree that Bubbles the Chimp was probably the best investment. Look at that little monkey, he's the cutest, I want one. So those were 10 filthy rich people who lost all of their fortune. And if you guys enjoyed this, remember to give it a big thumbs up. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and click the bell beside the subscribe button to enable notifications so that you never miss a thing, because I release new videos all the time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye!